Today we're diving deep into the universe of a man whose mind unraveled the deepest mysteries of the cosmos, transforming not just science, but the way we understand our own existence. Welcome to Hero's Journey, where we share life stories behind the great personalities who transformed the world. Here we narrate events and challenges that turned ordinary people into real-life heroes. And today we'll talk about Albert Einstein, the scientist whose theories redefine our understanding of time, space, and gravity. But beyond the complex equations and theories, who was the man behind the iconic mustache and the penetrating gaze that seems to see beyond our visible horizon? Get ready, because in this video we'll reveal 10 surprising facts about Einstein's life, from his rebellious childhood marked by unexpected challenges to his main discoveries that made him one of humanity's greatest geniuses. Einstein was born into a middle-class Jewish family in the city of Ulm, in the Kingdom of Württemberg, Germany. His father owned a company that sold and produced electrical equipment, and his mother took care of the family. From a very young age, Einstein showed curiosity about the world around him and received a pocket compass from his father, which awakened his interest in the wonders of physics and the invisible nature of magnetic forces. This simple gift became an amulet that propelled his adventurous spirit, combined with his strong research side. Number 1. His late speech. Einstein began speaking relatively late, around the age of 4. His late speech is one of the most intriguing aspects of his childhood, raising concerns in his family that feared a developmental delay. Fortunately, contrary to negative assumptions, this late start in oral communication did not announce any limitations, but merely deep introspection and a constantly questioning mind. Now you imagine, if even Einstein was suspected of being a bit retarded, what's to say about us mere mortals with average IQs? This late start in speech is often cited in scientific lectures as an example of how the development of multiple intelligence can vary significantly among individuals, and how we should not judge a person's destiny only by the first years of their lives. It's also worth noting that more recent research has proven that, in general, Einstein's brain was similar to other human brains, except in an area called the parietal region. Due to the broad development of this region on both sides of his brain, it was about 15% wider than other studied brains. This generated some estimates suggesting that his IQ could be in the range of 160 to 190. That is much above the global average, which is generally considered around 100. Stupid! Number 2. Rebellious behavior in school. In his childhood, Einstein attended a Catholic primary school and later the Luitpold Gymnasium, where he felt repressed. Much different from the stereotypical image of the genius as an individual who's always focused and obedient, Einstein was actually quite rebellious in school. He frequently questioned the authority of his teachers and the rigid educational system, which eventually led to his voluntary departure from the school. Einstein's rebellion in school is a reminder that a genius does not always fit into conventional standards of conduct and learning. Despite this, his passion for mathematics and sciences flourished, thanks to the encouragement of an uncle and a family doctor, who introduced Einstein to the concepts of advanced mathematics and philosophy during his youth. Number 3. Genius without a nation. After leaving school, Einstein renounced his German citizenship to avoid mandatory military service. He was without official citizenship for a few years, until becoming a Swiss citizen in 1901. A very famous quote by Einstein years later regarding his citizenship was, "If my theory of relativity is correct, Germany will say I'm German, and France will declare me a citizen of the world. But if not, France will say that I am German, and the Germans will say that I'm Jewish." Number 4. Nobel Prize. Interestingly, although he's best known for his theory of relativity, it was because of his profound work on photoelectric effect that Einstein won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921. This work was fundamental for the development of quantum physics theory. Despite this, Einstein is still remembered primarily for being the man behind science's most famous equation, E equals mc squared. That is, he established the quantitative equivalence of the transformation of matter into energy, or vice versa. Okay, I confess I was never really good at math, so I apologize to my physics teacher, but I have no idea what that means, I'm sorry. Number 5. Love for music. Whoever thinks Einstein was one of those nerds who stayed inside the laboratory all day and had no other skills is mistaken. In fact, he had a deep passion for music, especially for Mozart. Albert Einstein was a talented violinist and often stated that if he were not a scientist, he would like to be a musician. His ability with a violin was not just a hobby, but a form of expression and contemplation that intertwined his scientific life. Music offered Einstein a parallel universe of harmony and beauty, essential for his creative process and emotional well-being. Number 6. Pacifism and Activism. During World War II, Einstein was one of the few public voices in Germany to oppose the war, demonstrating his commitment to pacifism. Albert knew that recent discoveries could have disastrous impacts on humanity if used for wars. Therefore, he always maintained a firm stance against World War I and nuclear disarmament. He stood out as an active figure in defense of peace and social justice. These actions demonstrate that his influence transcended the scientific realm, touching on ethical and humanitarian issues of great relevance. As a scientist who was fully aware of the extent of the damage a nuclear bomb would cause, he once declared a memorable quote that has been eternalized in history. "I do not know what the Third World War will be like, but I know that the Fourth will be with sticks and stones." Number 7. Messy hair and tongue out. One of the most iconic images of Einstein is a photograph of him sticking out his tongue. This photo reflects his eccentric personality and his willingness not to take himself too seriously. He contributed to popularizing science in the world and breaking paradigms. His unkempt hair became a trademark, creating the stereotype of the mad scientist.
1.21 gigawatts!
Number 8. Love for sailing. Despite not knowing how to swim, Einstein had a love for sailing. He often sailed in a small boat while living on Long Island. For him, sailing was a form of relaxation and escape. Sailing offered a moment of solitude and contemplation, allowing him to reflect on scientific and philosophical questions in a serene environment, devoid of the rigid structure of the laboratory or a classroom. Number 9. Vegetarianism. In the last years of his life, Einstein adopted a vegetarian diet. On several occasions, he expressed the opinion that humanity would benefit from adopting a lifestyle that avoided the exploitation and suffering of animals. In a letter written in 1954, a year before his death, Einstein mentioned that, although he was a vegetarian, he regretted not having adopted this diet earlier. He saw vegetarianism not just as a personal matter of a healthier choice for the body, but also as an ethical choice, with more positive implications for society and the planet, reflecting his faithful commitment to peace and also to non-violence towards animals. Number 10. Lessons of life. To close it out on a good note, there's a story that in 1922, during his stay at a hotel in Japan to give lectures, Albert Einstein was without money to tip a hotel employee, so he chose to write a message about happiness, stating that a calm and modest life brings more joy than the pursuit of success, combined with constant restlessness. And on the back of the paper there was a second note where he wrote, "Where there's will, there's a way." These two notes, left as tips in place of money, offer a deep insight into Einstein's perspective on life. While true happiness comes from simplicity and tranquility, the fulfillment of our desires and goals is within reach if we maintain the will and determination to pursue them. Our episode of Hero's Journey is coming to an end here. Please, if you like this content, leave a like or subscribe to our channel to strengthen our work and receive new episodes of Hero's Journey. Comment below who would you like us to tell the life journey of. Until the next episode of Hero's Journey.